I'm going to go ahead and open the meeting. One thing I wanted to bring up is this is an informational meeting only, no decisions or deliberation we've made. Mike had requested to present to our board. Kind of went through Sheriff McDaniel, and he said that he was unopposed to having something come in and present it. So we won't be taking any questions or anything like that. This is if anybody has questions after the meeting, you can answer those at your own leisure, okay? So, all right, Mike, you have the floor.
Well, I want to tell you, all of you, thank you for letting our group, We the People for Constitutional Sheriffs, to address you this morning. My name is Mike LaCoste. I'm from Waverly, Iowa, which is Bremer County. I'm also accompanied with two people from our group, Gary Schauber from Fayette County here, and Dr. Bruce Rafoth from Delaware County, which is here.
Good morning.
Before I start, I want to set the tone for our presentation by reading a quote from James Madison, our fourth president. I believe there are more incidents of abridgment of freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachment of those power by violent and sudden usurpation. That being said, we are here to present what we call Constitution County concept. We realize that your focus as supervisors has been to run a day-to-day operations of the county, which involves many facets, including but not limited to budgets, maintaining roads, bridges, health, and many other facets of day-to-day county operations. We are presenting today, you may feel does not fall into your job as supervisors of Hardin County. But all of you did take an oath, which includes, and I quote, defending the Constitution of the United States and the state of Iowa against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Today in our presentation, we are going to discuss the aspects of your responsibility in defending against domestic enemies. Given the time we are living in, we feel very strongly that the Constitution County concept is something that you need to undertake, as well as a county supervisor in the state of Iowa. Back in May of 2021, I attended a seminar in Arlington, Iowa, with guest speaker Richard Mack, founder of the CSBOA, which stands for the Constitutional Sheriffs Peace Officers Association. Sheriff Mack represents the CSBOA and is the current president of this organization. The event was a great success with over 264 people attending the open to the public event. Also, 31 sheriff, deputies, and peace officers attend a separate session. The turnout exemplifies the frustrations, concerns, and safety of the citizens when it comes to lack of respect for law and order, and the constant assault on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Since Sheriff Mack event, a lot of things have changed along with my mindset. I have become involved with a group called We the People for Constitutional Sheriffs and are working to continue the cause in Northeast Iowa that Sheriff Mack ignited while he was here. Gary Schauber and Dr. Bruce Rafoth and I are just three of several people in this group in hopes of educating counties the importance of going constitutional. At this event, Sheriff Mack outlined how one county was soon to become the first county constitution in the county, Lander County, Nevada. Within a month, a second neighborhood county, Echo County, elected to become constitutional county also. What does going constitutional mean? It simply means that these county supervisors, or in the case of Nevada, commissioners, wanted to ensure that their constituents, their citizens that they represent, are afforded their Bill of Rights under the Constitution, regardless of any unlawful, unconstitutional laws that may be passed either by the state or the federal government. The CSBOA Constitutional County concept is not a political issue. It is a liberty issue. While this concept is new, it becomes at a time when our freedoms and liberties are being attacked from within by those who wish to restrict our freedoms. While the Bill of Rights is theoretically guaranteed by the United States and the state constitution, many federal agencies have developed their own regulations which are superseding our rights as guaranteed under the Bill of Rights. As one commissioner in Echo County said, my advice to Americans is that they better wake up and fight back or we're going to lose this wonderful country. We are slipping quickly from a constitutional republic of our founding fathers into a dictatorship. The Echo County resolution also states that the executive branch does not have the power to make law, overturn law, or set aside law. Simply put, the commissioners of these two counties in Nevada have ensured their residents' rights are going to be protected by local resolution. Gary Schauber will read your letter that was written by Attorney General of the state of Arizona, Mark Brenovich, to Merrick Garland, the newly appointed Attorney General of the United States. This letter was dated June 14th of 2021, and it was in relation to the comments that Merrick Garland made regarding an audit of the 2020 presidential election that the state of Arizona is currently conducting. While this letter has nothing to do with being constitutional county, it points out the powers of the federal government are given to them by the states, not the other way around.
So here's a copy of this letter. You download it off the internet. That's where I got it from.
And there should be a copy of there.
And it's addressed to Attorney General Merrick Garland, again, Mark Brenovich, who is Attorney General of Arizona. Dear Attorney General Garland, late last week, you made troubling comments about the ongoing efforts in states to ensure election integrity. Your statement displayed an alarming disdain for state sovereignty as defined under the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution and the election provisions in Articles 1 and 2. Your comments followed a May 5th letter from the Department's Justice Civil Rights Division on the subject of the Arizona Senate oversight of the Maricopa County audit. This letter appeared more interested in supporting the hysterical outcries of the leftist pundits on cable television rather than the rule of law. My office is not amused by the Department of Justice's posturing and will not tolerate any effort to undermine or interfere with our state and Senate's audit to reassure Arizonans of accuracy of our election. We stand ready to defend federalism and state sovereignty against any partisan attacks or federal overreach. Now, this paragraph goes to the heart of why we're reading this letter. It is important to remember that states created the federal government, not the other way around. America's founders intentionally restrained the federal government's constitutional boundaries to ensure each state could flourish in unique ways. Today, our federal government has largely forgotten the founders' intent, but my office has not. And then it goes on to say about how they hope to work together on this issue and get it worked out. But and they ended it by saying simply the 10th Amendment gives states the rights, sovereignty over the federal government.
By adopting such a resolution to be a constitutional county, you too would be sending a message to both the state and the federal government that you will ensure that your citizens of Hardin County are going to have their Bill of Rights guaranteed to them by Hardin County. The resolutions that these counties passed in May of this year, in essence, guarantees the right to bear arms due to the fact that their resolution covers the Bill of Rights from our Constitution, which of course includes the Second Amendment. In addition, this covers all other rights that are and or may be infringed upon every day, including the potential for door knockers advocating for the shots and intruding on our privacy. So you might ask, what are some of the situations that Hardin County may benefit from being a constitutional county? President Biden announced a plan to go door to door to find those that have not been given the shot and get them to take the shot. First, that's none of their business. Second, there have been ample opportunities to go to these sites that give the shots. And there has been plenty of publicity about the shots in the news. This is not the 1800s where the Pony Express got the news out. I surmise that those that haven't taken a shot are pretty set, and all people going door to door will do is potentially cause problems. By declaring that Hardin County is a constitutional county and that we're not going to accept people going door to door with shot information may very well prevent a confrontation and eliminate a call to the sheriff's office. In essence, you will frankly help keep peace and your constituents' privacy. Remember, the states give the power to the federal government. Your supervisors, the supervisors can keep them out, and your sheriff can notify the federal government of Hardin County's policy. Some other comments regarding the resolutions that these two Nevada counties passed. The CSPOA did not approach Lander or Echo counties to become constitutional counties. The CSPO, until they approached Lander County, Nevada, did not have a county membership. Lander County asked if they could become members of the CSPOA. The commissioners of these counties did not have their citizens demanding to become a constitutional county. Instead, the commissioners had the foresight to take it upon themselves to be constitutional. And I would encourage each one of you to ask yourself, why are they doing this on their own initiative? I think the answer is pretty clear and pretty simple. What is the benefit of joining the CSPOA? Simple. You have a leader who knows the Constitution inside and out and has been for over 25 years, speaking to law enforcement about upholding the oath of office against unwarranted intrusions by an overreaching federal government, and in some cases, a state government. Sheriff Mack took the overreach of the federal law passed by the Clinton administration and filed suit because he knew the law was unconstitutional for violating the 10th Amendment to the Constitution, as well as the sovereignty of the county sheriff. The sheriff is elected by the people of their respective counties, and he does not answer to the federal government. The case eventually went to the Supreme Court, and he won a 5-4 decision written by the late Justice Scalia. So I encourage each one of you to take the initiative to further study what Elko and Lander counties did in Nevada. What those commissioners did in those two counties was to ensure their citizens would have the freedoms that are guaranteed in our Constitution. I would ask you to pass the resolution and become the first county in Iowa to follow a lead of the two bold Nevada counties. Yes, it takes fortitude and courage to be a lion rather than a sheep, and to stand out from the crowd and lead the way. But that's what leaders do. We ask you, please consider joining the CSPOA on behalf of the citizens of Hardin County and become a constitutional county. I've got one other thing. I invited a person to come here and speak. Exactly what I'm trying to talk about today is our freedoms that are slowly being eroded. And if you go back to the very first paragraph by James Madison, speaks a lot with what's going on today. And I'd like to introduce at this time, Veronica Lundgren. Excuse me. She's gonna.
Just say that. Good morning. My name is Veronica, and I am currently a resident of Franklin County and a business owner in Hardin County since 2017. I became a citizen of the United States in 2019. I'm not a member of CSPOA, but I was asked by Mike today to just share my perspective with freedom, somebody who comes from a country with a long history fighting for it. So I was born in Ukraine a year before the dissolution of Soviet Union. And the following year, Ukraine became independent by 90% of eligible voters who came to endorse independence. That same year, they elected their president. That was the major milestone in the country's millennium-long road to national unity and international recognition, and that journey is still ongoing. I was fortunate in the sense to not have lived through the darkest history of Ukraine, which was the Soviet era. But when I grew up, that spirit was still in the air everywhere. And I learned about the utopian image of Soviet Union from the heavily censored and government-edited movies that to this day make the older generation feel nostalgic about the life never lived. I learned in school history from two different sets of textbooks. One that was published according to the standards of Soviet Ministry of Education, and I was still flooding the bookshelves of my school library like a tree after the storm. And the second set was the new Ukrainian editions that my teacher called the true history. The internationally recognized literary works of Soviet writers like Archipelago, which you might have heard about, and Children of the Arbat, shed more light on Stalin's abuse of power, abuse of system, and abuse of the people. Basic human rights in the Soviet Union depended on whether they served the political agenda of the party. The Constitution of the Soviet Union nominally granted certain rights and freedoms to its people, but then circumscribed them elsewhere. So, for example, Article 125 of the Soviet Constitution was supposed to guarantee freedom of speech and assembly to the press. However, Soviet laws required that before those freedoms were exercised, they had to be time when people lived in uncertainty and fear of the government because they could break into your home at night for a random search or detain you without any due process. Such close proximity in time to those troubling events made me very uneasy about any potential government overreach. It may start with what seems to be an organic evolution of terms and end up as restriction of speech, what we've seen happening in Canada. A new angle on historic events can morph into control of information. A violence prevention bill may strip law-abiding citizens and means of protection against those who seek violence. Unlike in many countries, the Constitution of the United States guarantees its citizens a set of individual rights to give them legal power to protect their freedom. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "The Bill of Rights is what people are entitled to against. The Bill of Rights is what people are entitled to against every government on earth, general or particular, and what no just government should refuse or rest on inference. Those rights is what drew people to the land of opportunities from around the globe, seeking refuge from oppressive governments." The last part of that Jefferson quote about challenging the Bill of Rights with logical reasoning is exactly what we're up against today. I like to believe the Constitution keeps me safe in my community and in my home. And in turn, as the citizens, it is our responsibility to protect and defend the Constitution against any enemy, whether it's foreign or domestic. Living in the land of the free is not a privilege. It's the right to be earned and the liberty to be guarded. I hope that members of our community feel compelled to stand up to infringement on their rights, no matter how trivial they may seem, to prevent the federal government from gradually taking them away. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one other comment I'd like to make. Prior to us addressing different county boards of supervisors, I put together a Zoom meeting with this Rex Steniger, who's referred to in the Epic Times article there, who was the head commissioner of Elko County that was instrumental in Elko County of getting this put together. I had a Zoom meeting with him and Sheriff Mack and probably about a dozen other people, including one supervisor from my county, Fayette County, and had an hour and 20-minute Zoom meeting. I kept a copy of that and I downloaded it on my computer, and I was going to bring a thumb drive today to leave with you. So if you wanted to review those, I could. I forgot it. I will mail it to you. So it's an hour and 20 minutes. It's very informative. Well, the reason we had that is to ask a lot of questions of why they did it, any stumbling blocks that they might see in the future, and different things. And this commissioner from Elko County was very candid. And so I think if this is something you're considering, I think you would find that thumb drive very helpful, and I will mail it to you and give it to you in a matter of a few days.
And I am a resident of Hardin County. I live 2 3/4 miles south of Ackley on an acreage by myself. I need to know that when I call, somebody's going to come and protect me. Right now, I see things happening. I know gal in Wellsburg, somebody just stole her car. I mean, we aren't protected here. We have to be sure that our elected officials are going to take care of us. My name is Teresa Willems. My sister's Jolene Peters. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. All I want to say is, as a resident of Hardin County, I need to feel I'm safe. And I don't always feel that way.
Well, I will say this, I had the pleasure to meet Sheriff McDaniels. You guys are very, very blessed to have him on board. I got a lot of admiration for this guy. He stands up for what the Constitution says, and I'm very blessed to have been able to meet him. So pass that on to him. So if there, I mean, you said there was no questions, but I'll leave this up to you guys to decide. But I think it's important that we set this groundwork, so it's an informative thing. And I think we live in a day today that's unparalleled to anything that we used to have. I think we're in troubled times, and I think we all need to take a long, long look. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Lance, did you have anything?
Oh, I can wait till afterwards.
Okay. Renee? with that, I can ask for adjournment.
I'm Dave Rolfe at the
Oh, sorry.
Southwest. And I was like, these guys are on track and and my belief too, and I'm sure yours too, the Constitution of the United States. And so I want you to know that I care. That's the only reason I'm here. Good. Good guys. Hope they get across their point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a